Alright, our friend Mosseri, the head of Instagram, has launched a new update to the algorithm, and it's a big one. And in this video we will dive deep into what it actually looks like and what it means to you. So one of the big things here is that it will now remove aggregator accounts from recommendations, and instead they will try to prioritize the original content piece, which is a great thing for small creators like me. But if you are an aggregator account, which could be you, then you will have a problem because you need to change your content properly in order to get the impressions yourself. So one of the things that probably already could change the content enough for you to get the impressions would be to add a new voiceover, or of course one of the other things I mentioned, by making it a meme, a parody compilation, remix it with certain things, or you might even adjust the editing in multiple parts. I see this as a very good thing, but again, the aggregators won't like this. So let's listen to Adam himself first. He posted 2 videos 24 hours ago.
We have some significant changes to how ranking works that you really should know about if you're a creator or an aggregator on Instagram. Now, we want to be the best platform for creators online, which means we need to do more to drive reach to creators who create original content. So one thing that we've started to do, and we're going to be doing more over.
So it might be interesting to know why they want to do this, because, well, they are a public company. They want to make money. So why do they want to expose small creators to more impressions? That's a question I have. One of the things could be that they now see TikTok might getting banned, and a lot of small creators coming over and giving them the opportunity to grow and actually stick to Instagram, and might also start using the platform more. I think that is a part of it, but at the same time, it's really quickly timed. I'm not sure how much time the developing team had to do this, and I think they had more time than like a week since the announcement that TikTok has to be sold to a US company. By the way, I made another video about that you can watch here.
Over time, something that we call direct replace. So if we're going to recommend content that is
This is really interesting. So recommending your reel instead of others that feature your original content. So they now let me as a small creator know when they recommend my reel. And I think they will do that after an aggregator has posted it and it started to gain traction. I think at that point they will notify you like, hey, your post is getting shared. And I think that's the moment when you can get a lot of impressions, which is very interesting.
A photo or video to someone who doesn't follow the account that created it, we're going to start now looking to see if we can find the original piece of content, if there is one.
So they say we're starting to look for the original piece of content. It shouldn't be too difficult. It's new for Instagram, I believe. They never had something like this before, to my understanding. YouTube has something very similar, this content ID system, which isn't the greatest, but they have it, and it works. So I think it will be something similar.
And if so, we're going to actually show that original piece of content instead of the content coming from the aggregator or the resharer. Now, we might not always be able to find that original piece of content. Maybe it was posted on another platform. But as we get better at this over time, this should affect reach more and more for creators in a positive way, and for those who repost other people's content in a negative way. The other major change is changing how we treat aggregators on Instagram with regards to recommendations. So aggregators are people who go and collect other people's content and then post it without making a spin on the content or making it their own in some way, shape, or form. And what we're going to start doing is trying to avoid recommending content from aggregators across Instagram. So aggregators will still be able to reach their followers, but
so this is interesting. They will still be able to reach their followers. So let's say they have 1 million followers as an aggregator account. It will still be shown to that audience. But I think at the point where they currently already, where they see, okay, this is getting traction, that is the point when they, I think when something triggers the algorithm, and then they try to find the original piece. Or maybe they do this all the time on each piece of content posted. I'm not sure if that is really a viable option for them, because it takes a lot of, I would say compute power to do this.
We're going to try to focus recommendations much less on aggregators and much more on original content creators. So if you are an aggregator out there, in addition to, of course, continuing to invest in your following.
Yeah, I think it makes the most sense to do this when posts start to get traction, because if it only gets a few impressions, then it doesn't really make sense. So I think they do this when they start to show the post to non-followers. That's the point. Just before that, when they are going to cross-check if it is already post it somewhere, and if yes, then it will show the original piece. And I think that's the point where the algorithm picks up the original creator's piece and starts to promote that one in the current algorithm as it is.
I highly recommend that you look for more ways to make content your own if you're resharing other people's content, and that you use collaborations to really drive credit to where it's due, to the original creator. This change won't go into effect immediately. It's going to start happening at the beginning of the summer, but I wanted to give all of you an ample heads up, given it is a significant change that should meaningfully affect reach for both creators and aggregators.
Yeah. So beginning of the summer, maybe next month. I think they will start to do this in the US first, but probably quickly to all the other countries, EU, etc., or maybe right away.
Now let me know down below in the comments what you think. I assume this might be a bit of a spicy topic, but we do think it's an important step in improving Instagram as a platform for creators online. See y'all soon.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great thing. And I really do think they will try to get all those TikTok creators on Instagram posting and giving them that motivation with all the impressions they get. So this is a really interesting quote from them. In the upcoming months, accounts that repeatedly 10 or more times in the last 30 days post content from other Instagram users that they didn't create or enhance in a material way will not be shown in services where we recommend content. So it seems like they also are going, well, not it seems like, I will show you in a bit what they do to the account status overview, but what they will now do is they will penalize these aggregators if they do this for 10 times in a 30-day period. And you will be able to see that in your account status overview if you are an aggregator. They try to name it in a sweet way, but it's essentially just reposters, really doing nothing but downloading and uploading the content, which I think this is a really fair update, but feel free to disagree with me. And it's indeed a big move because there are a lot of these aggregator accounts, because it's so easy and you get a lot of impressions just reposting the viral content itself. So if you get penalized, you will become eligible for recommendations again after 30 days have passed. And there is an exception if you, of course, have an agreement that you are able to license the content or have permissions in some way. I'm not sure how they will check this. Maybe you can appeal and show that you have license permission. If you know this, let me know in the comments. I'm interested how they're going to check this. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about in the beginning. They will start to, I think, get that original post back into the algorithm after an aggregator posts it and it gets traction, and then you can see this in your own account with such a label or this one, or of course the notification itself. It's really small, so I will zoom in a little bit. Yeah, and this can provide a major boost for the original creators because these reposts, as you maybe have seen, they get a lot of impressions. And to show you one of these aggregators, I was just clicking on Reels and it popped up like as the second one or third one, and this one is just reposting the same one, but as you can see, like the amount of views, 1.2 million impressions. That will be a big boost to the original creator if the original creator gets, well, most of these impressions, considering that they might only show this to the follower count, which is like 660 followers in this case. The original creator might, it can be very interesting. At the same time, there's no incentive anymore for these aggregator accounts to start reposting. So I'm curious about the second or third order consequences here, because they won't be posting it. So the original post might get only the original impressions. And as always, we will start to see these aggregators finding a way around it, which I think is very easy in the beginning because they are just using the system or starting to use the system, and it's not easy, as you see with YouTube. And again, quoting them here, when we find 2 or more identical pieces of content on Instagram, we will only recommend the original one. So we will only recommend the original one in the recommendations places, such as the explore page. And this one is an interesting note to that. Instagram also says that it will only take this approach when the original content is relatively new, which could lessen the value of it over time. So how could this practically look like? Well, what I think is that, let's say it's a very old post of Michael Jackson, for example, of 10 years ago. Then they might care less about finding the original owner or where the original piece of that is uploaded on Instagram a long time ago. Yeah, so this is where I was coming from at the beginning. Why are they doing this? We think it's important to correct this to give all creators a more equal chance of breaking through to new audiences. So I really think they want to get more creators to the platform, and the current creators give them more motivation to create more and better stuff, which makes sense. That's very obvious, but I really think they do this right now in this timing, and they might have planned it because they knew the TikTok ban could be coming, to get a lot of these TikTok creators back to Instagram, or not even back because they might never created before that. Yeah, and I found this comment of the writer here very interesting. If Instagram moves away from showing the top performing posts, which could have been these aggregator posts based on engagement, then it could change the user experience. They will see low likes, low comments, and at least that could overall the total amount people are on the platform and they engage with the content. And I think this image is a really good one to understand. I will read what it says here. Content understanding. We categorize the content from public Instagram accounts using specific signals. Well, they might be a lot of signals. They try to understand who it is for, who would like it the most, and then they will just push it out to a bigger audience. I was already aware of this, but it's great to see this coming from their own Facebook site. And knowing this, as a creator, I think you should really try to focus having one account for a specific audience. If you want to post different types of content, you can experiment with it a few times, but if it doesn't work, you want to keep making it, which is something I want to create about a lot of different things, then just create a new account and post on there. Because as you can see, otherwise some posts really flop and some will perform really well because Instagram knows where to push it and where people won't like it. So you might now create, let's say this creator is now creating something about soccer. Well, if he's in this category, in the entertainment part, there might be only very few people who like soccer because there's a lot of people in there. And especially if you're still in this phase where your account is really small, Instagram is trying to understand it and put you maybe in the stand-up category because you're always posting funny stuff. And you're posting about soccer, your opinion about that, well, you can only imagine what happens. So great image. In case you want to read it, it's coming directly from Instagram. I will add it in the show notes. And let's listen to Mosseri once again.
Historically, if I'm honest, I don't think Instagram has been good enough by small creators out there. Now, we've got tens of millions of small creators, which is amazing. But in general, I think too much reach goes to the largest creators and not enough goes to the little guys. So one change that we're making to how ranking works is
I get an idea here. So, of course, they're working on threads. And I noticed that they're starting to push out a bonus to threads creators, as you can see in here. And I think they offer this bonus only to really large creators. But this update to the algorithm there might be something that they do this because they also want more users to threads. So far, I only know that this is applying to Instagram. But it might help get more creators on threads, which is what they need. They need more daily active users on, or monthly active users on threads. To win the race with Elon.
Trying to do more to amplify small creators, specifically through recommendations. Now, recommendations are photos and videos you see from accounts you do not follow. This is separate from connected content from accounts you already do follow. And what we're trying to do now is give every piece of content on Instagram a chance to be recommended to people who don't follow you. So historically, if you were a comedian, let's say, and you posted a new bit as a reel, we would first show it to some of your followers, we would see how well it did, and then we may or may not show it to some people who do not follow your account yet. What we've changed and what we're trying to do more and more is to give every reel a chance by showing it to non-followers right away. Maybe people who are interested.
That's really interesting. So what he's implying here, if I hear this very correctly, you always have to read between the lines, is that he's saying that before they only show it first to your followers. But right now they also start to show it to at least some non-followers, which is very interesting. And I think a great thing, because your followers already follow you. And if your post is not great, then you won't reach non-followers. So you will, with each new post coming soon, you will start to reach new people. Always on each review, even you, well, I think they have a minimum for it, but like, let's say you have more than 10 impressions, I think they will already show a few of it to new non-followers.
Interested and stand up more broadly. And then if it does well, we try to expand, maybe to people who are interested in comedy more broadly. If it does well still, we'll expand even further to people who are interested in funny content more.
And I'm not sure if you ever had a post which got traction. I recently had one, and it got very quickly 1,000 impressions. Then it stayed around there, and then they showed it to at least to a new category, and I saw that, and out of nowhere, within like 30 minutes or so, it got to 14,000 impressions. So you can really see this on your posts for the ones that get traction. They really push it out to a new audience, to a new bucket every time.
More broadly. This way we can try and help small creators reach a broad audience that might be much larger than the number of people who actually follow their account. Now this is already in ranking, but we're trying to grow it over time. Hopefully the effects will become more visible to you small creators out there.
So he's saying that it's already in ranking, so that's interesting.
But let me know down below in the comments what you think, and what else we can do to try to help small creators get ahead on a platform that has historically done too much for the large creators and not enough for you small guys out there.
So I think we start to see more changes coming for small creators, which I think is a positive thing. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you're serious, then check the show notes and talk soon.